Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're really getting into a story about resilience, the ultimate pest, maybe. You know, that moment for an elite athlete when everything seems perfect, momentum's high, the goal's right there, and then boom, it all just collapses.
Exactly. We're looking at Cam Skattebo's career. He's a running back known less for, flashy stats early on or recruiting buzz, and more for just pure grit, pure will. And our sources today are kind of interesting. We're using insights from a script for a documentary about his journey.
Oh, okay. So that gives us a really narrative feel, right? Like step by step.
Yeah, it's chronological, almost poetic. Sometimes it shows how he faced adversity, psychologically too, not just physically, proving people wrong again and again, right up until, well, the biggest test.
Sounds like a compelling story. And for you listening, our mission here is to unpack how Skattebo built that core toughness back in California, then trace his rise as this total underdog. And crucially, look at how his leadership shifted after that huge injury took him off the field. It's about toughness, but maybe not just the on-field kind.
Yeah, sometimes it's about mentoring, about presence. So let's start where it all began, where that foundation was laid.
Right, Rio Linda, California. The sources, they paint this picture. It's a sort of working-class town, modest. Football there is. Well, they say it's a way of life. It's demanding. It tests your commitment. And what's key is Skattebo wasn't like the top recruit, not the biggest, not the fastest. He had to earn everything.
That's such a crucial point. When you're not the obvious physical standout, you've got to find success somewhere else. The script really highlights his hunger to fight for every yard. It wasn't about speed. It was about refusing to be tackled.
Just pure grit.
Exactly. They talk about his low center of gravity, his vision, things he probably honed because he had to, anticipating contact, not just trying to run away from it.
And you see that pay off, right? He led Rio Linda High to a state championship in 2019. The language in the sources is really something. It says he ran through doubt itself.
Wow.
Yeah, like even back then he was battling this idea that maybe he wasn't quite built for the next level.
And thinking about that environment, Rio Linda sounds like the perfect, crucible. It demanded resilience, that early success, earned the hard way. It built his mindset. He learned his strength wasn't just physical, which set him up for what came next.
College football. But even with those insane numbers, the state title, the big schools, the Power 5 programs, they mostly look the other way.
Right. And that's where the underdog thing really takes hold. He had to find a different path. He ends up at Sacramento State, FCS football.
Yeah, maybe for some listeners, we should clarify. FCS football championship subdivision, it's definitely a step down from the big FBS schools, especially Power 5. Less funding, different level of recruiting overall.
Absolutely. So getting a shot there was great, but it was still kind of a knock considering what he did in high school.
But he didn't let that opportunity slide. He made a statement, 2021, Big Sky Conference breakthrough year. He didn't just run well, he exploded. Over 1,400 yards rushing. That's huge at any level.
Huge numbers.
And it got him noticed. Big Sky Offensive Player of the Year.
And that season, that was his validation. Like a message sent back to all those recruiters. The sources actually quote broadcasters, calling him the most powerful small school back in America.
Powerful small school back. I like that.
Yeah, and apparently his running style, low, violent cuts, made for amazing highlights. Fans just called him unstoppable. It proved that toughness and talent can definitely shine through, even without the 5-star pedigree, if you get the chance.
So he'd done everything he could there, climbed that mountain. And that momentum, that confidence, it pushed him to the next level.
Which takes us to 2023. The transfer to Arizona State. That's a huge jump. Power 5, Pac-12.
Massive jump. It's not just a different jersey. It's faster, bigger, stronger players everywhere you look.
Totally. And right away, the skepticism creeps back in, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. Can he dominate the Big Sky? Sure. But can that physical style work against, 300-pound SEC-level defensive linemen week after week? Did the sources say if he had to change his approach, his core toughness, or just kind of ramp it up?
That's a great question. The script is pretty clear. He didn't change. He actually doubled down on that aggressive style. It says he answered the critics by running through anyone in his path. He showed that vision and force could translate.
But it wasn't just the running, was it? The sources talk about his impact off the field, too.
Yeah, that's what's really compelling about his time at ASU.
Yeah.
He quickly became like the heart of the team. You have coaches calling him fearless, teammates seeing him as a leader, almost a spiritual one, fans calling him family. The script says he was the spark the Sun Devils needed.
That's incredible, especially for a transfer coming in.
It really is rare. The documentary script talks about his work ethic just spreading through the team. There's this one story about him in a conditioning drill, just refusing to take a break. Not to show off, but just because that's him. He doesn't stop. That kind of relentless drive gave everyone else a model. He was at his absolute peak, national stage recognition.
He proved everyone wrong, earned the respect, the absolute high point. And that's
Well,
exactly when, well, that's when the rug gets pulled out.
yeah, the shift from that peak, that leadership, that physical dominance, to the silence after the injury, it's jarring. The script really captures that gut punch.
Okay, let's really focus here because this feels like the core of it. The sources, they use dramatic techniques, right? Music slows down, stadium noise fades out. It was just one play. It seems like nothing special. Takes the handoff, plants his foot hard for a cut, and then just collapses. No contact.
Ugh. You can almost feel it in the description. That plant foot for a running back, that's everything. Power, explosion. When that goes, your whole game plan, your identity, it just crumbles. The script paints this vivid picture. The stadium goes quiet, that collective gasp you hear, that awful silence.
And it details his reaction, trying to get up. Just pure instinct, trying to fight through it, push himself up, but he couldn't. The pain was too much. For the first time, that hunger to fight was beaten, not by another player, but by his own body.
And that feeling is echoed in the commentary booth soundbite they included. It's haunting. You never want to see this happen to a player like him. It shows how much respect he'd earned, the heartbreak of seeing someone who built himself up get taken down like that. Right. And that really forces the question. If your whole identity is built on physical power, what happens when that's just gone instantly? The diagnosis comes back. Season-ending leg injury. Crushing, the script calls it. You'd expect him to retreat, right? Focus solely on rehab, maybe disappear for a bit. But his reaction, according to the sources, was the opposite, a flat-out refusal to disappear. And that's where maybe his real leadership showed up.
How so? What did he actually do? Because saying you won't disappear is one thing, but staying influential when you're on crutches, that's tough.
It was about active presence. He was at practices every day, hobbling around, not just standing there either. Yeah, he cheered, but he also became a mentor. Using his experience to help the younger running backs with their reads, their technique, he essentially shifted his role from the guy executing the plays to the guy helping others execute. Mental stewardship, you could call it.
Wow, so he pivoted from being the engine of the team to being its, I don't know, its emotional anchor, its brain almost.
Exactly. And the sources suggest that while the injury was devastating, it actually elevated his leadership status in a weird way. He showed that resilience isn't just about bouncing back physically. It's about keeping the team's spirit up, staying involved, even when you're hurting.
And his message was simple, right? I'll be back.
Just that. I'll be back. And because of who he was, because of the fight everyone had seen in him, they believed it. The script emphasizes that. Everyone believed him. That trust, maybe that was the real proof of his character, more than any yardage stat.
That faith in him earned over years of fighting.
It's powerful. It really is. It became the true measure. It wasn't about the rushing yards that season. It was about redefining toughness, showing the team that commitment means sticking with it through recovery, supporting your teammates, staying mentally present, even through intense pain.
So bringing it all together, Skattebo's story, from Rio Linda's grit factory through proving himself at Sac State to the Power 5 stage and then the injury. It's just a deep dive into handling doubt from the outside and pain from the inside.
Yeah, we started talking about his body giving out, but his spirit didn't. And if you think about it more broadly, it raises this interesting idea. When you're severely limited, like with the season-ending injury, your commitment has to shift, right? From doing the physical work to mentoring, leading emotionally. So you have to ask yourself, which kind of toughness ultimately leaves the bigger legacy with his teammates? The guy running through tackles or the guy leading from the sidelines on crutches?
That's a really powerful thought to leave people with. How do you keep your own drive going when a huge setback just stops you cold? When you're forced to change your whole purpose? That shift from doer to leader, maybe that's the real test of resilience for anyone, not just athletes.